Hello everyone, this is Michael. I usually make really long form videos, often over an hour long, and I've had some people say to me, why don't you make shorter videos? So I said, well, why don't I make shorter videos? So that's what we're going to try today. This is probably an excerpt from one of my long form videos, usually just a single album review from one of my ranking the catalog videos that I've done for many bands. If you like it, I hope that you'll hit the like button, and if you enjoy the content that I provide on this channel, hit the subscribe button. And with that, let's check out the video. Alright, so like I say, at this point the band has not moved beyond being kind of one of those bands that open up for lots of other bands. But their ambitions were not restrained in any way when they came out with Operation Mindcrime in 1988, which I have here as a 94. Most people consider Operation Mindcrime to be the band's their greatest accomplishment, their greatest achievement, and I'm not going to argue with those people. I think it's fantastic. Operation Mindcrime is without doubt a heavy metal classic. It deserves all the accolades that it receives. It gets listed on top metal band, top metal albums, top hard rock albums, top progressive metal albums. It's a concept album. The band does so many things right on this album, and they really don't miss at all. I want to talk about several things that make this such a good thing. The production is outstanding from beginning to end. You can hear all of the songs really clearly. 2, they employ a shit ton of kind of background sounds to help flesh out the story and augment the oral experience, if you will. Specifically, I'm going to cite the very beginning of the album. You hear a television playing. It's a news program reporting about a series of religious and political murders that have rocked this city. Seem to have stopped as soon as they began. A suspect is in custody. Suspect is being held in custody at State Mental Hospital. Then you hear a nurse's shoes tapping, and she checks on what appears to be our protagonist, the patient. She says you should be sleeping, but she calls him a bastard, which links him. Anyway, then the protagonist starts speaking, and he says, "I remember now. I remember how it started." That little opening is utterly brilliant, and the way it's not music, but it tells you so much about the story. Let's see, we got a series of religious and political murders. We have a suspect in custody, which apparently is our protagonist because he starts telling the story. He talks about how I can't remember yesterday, I just remember doing what they told me. So he feels like you immediately feel like, okay, he's supposed to be the bad guy, but he's also a protagonist, and he's talking about he feels he was manipulated. All of that in like 30 seconds, and that is one reason Operation Mindcrime works so well as a concept album. Is throughout the album they have all these accessories, if you will, these non-musical accessories told through these background sounds, the same way that Pink Floyd used a lot of background sounds on like Dark Side of the Moon. Queensryche was using those to great effect throughout Operation Mindcrime. Another reason it works so well. The story is coherent and easy to understand. So many of even the best concept albums in rock history are a bit dense and maybe not too easy to understand. This is not, even though it is absolutely a rock opera. We've got a protagonist who is an assassin and a junkie. He's in love with a sister of the church, Sister Mary, who also used to be a junkie and a former prostitute. We've got corrupt government officials. We've got corrupt politicians. We've got the evil and manipulative and mysterious Dr. X, who is pulling our protagonist Nikki's strings and has basically brainwashed him into doing these assassinations. It's a super compelling story. They also mix in a enormous amount of social commentary here. They mention the hypocrisy of the church, the corruption of government officials, the way that the 1% rules America and that laws don't apply to them, and that 1% uses the police to hold the riffraff, if you will, down. This is 1988. It's probably more applicable today in 2024 than it was in 1988. Just a stunning achievement in terms of what a band could do with a concept album, and for it to be a heavy metal band accomplishing this was just unheard of in 1988. In many ways, this set the template for what a progressive metal band could be and what they could accomplish, and it is the album that I think made Queensryche influence, a big influence on many other future bands that, you know, I don't think people, if progressive metal had been a term before 1988, I don't remember hearing it. I think that this in many ways was kind of the official blooming of a progressive metal, and what bands like Fate's Warning and Metallica was doing some progressive metal. Dream Theater wasn't about, they hadn't released their first album yet, but all of those bands, Fate's Warning, Queensryche, Metallica, and Dream Theater. Metallica's more of a thrash band, but they had some progressive elements in their early years. And I just can't say enough about this album. It's spectacular. If you've never heard it, man, find yourself a glass of wine and a herb that you like. Settle down, put your headphones on, and get ready for about 65 minutes of just intense stuff. Also want to mention that the album was 65 minutes long. In many ways, it was the first album I ever bought that was CD length. I didn't even know what a CD was in 1988. Well, I think I did. I knew what it was, but I didn't own one or a CD player. But this album was 65 minutes in length because it was designed to take advantage of the length of a CD. Most albums prior to the CDs were around 40 minutes in total length. So, again, just a spectacular album. Deserves all the accolades. And again, a departure from what they'd done before. So looking back at the catalog now, look at this. You've got 4 albums, all 4 90 or higher, each one different than the one before. So now you've got a catalog of a fairly broad array of music at this point. Even though it's all heavy metal, it's all rock, it's all 80s, all of those things are there. But this is not, you know, Quiet Riot singing "We're Not Gonna," Twisted Sister singing "We're Not Gonna Take It," or Quiet Riot singing "Come On Feel the Noise." This is heavy metal that is completely different and separate from that stuff, or bands like Poison or Warrant or Dokken or Bon Jovi or any of those types of bands. This is a different style of music. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button or subscribe so that I can continue to provide quality content on this channel. Again, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it.